upsets, own goals, comebacks, and extra time winners. FA Cup Heritage.
How are we, Tate?
Very well, mate. Very well. How are you?
Good. Not much better, but yeah, doing okay. We're fine.
A few beers made you forget about yesterday.
Yeah, it was a big old day, and once again ruined by the football. But yeah, it's a Sunday today, and we're in the bunker trying to record. Sort of just come off the back of the Liverpool United game as well, haven't we? So lots to talk about as usual, but we're probably firing from the hip. Less, obviously, some notes and background checked and whatever research done, but yeah, probably more our emotions and feelings.
Yeah, and some of the beers from yesterday may have affected our opinions and what we saw on the pitch and what we're catching up on. But like Jack said, it is Sunday. We managed to squeeze in a podcast for you all this week because we've got a busy week coming up. And today, Jack, is St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all our Irish listeners out there. Can you name the top 5 all-time Irish Premier League goal scorers?
Oh. All right. Yeah, I like it.
I thought about it on the train home and I was like, what can I do Irish themed?
That's good. Yeah, give it a go.
Well, the show is going to go over the Fulham Spurs game. We'll start off with that. Maybe touch on some of the 3 games that else happened on the weekend. And then we will do a little recap and our views and opinions on the FA Cup drama that's happened over the weekend. Today, what's happened today?
Yeah,
great,
what a game.
Two great games. And then we'll have some chat on the European week. Obviously, the quarter-final draw has been made and the round of 16 games in the Champions League, Europa League and Europa Conference Leagues will be finalised now. So let's start with yesterday's 5:30 kickoff at Craven Cottage. You were there, Jack, weren't you?
Yep. Yeah.
Second time this season you've been there, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And second horrible result at Fulham away once again.
Did you go on the boat at all, or
no,
boat at the river? Or
no, we it was teed up for a big day for everyone. So yeah, went up to London very early on, and no, we didn't avoided the boat, but yeah, we had a good day in and around the football. But yeah,
it was a big chance for you, wasn't it? It was your game in hand.
Yeah, it was, and well, if we obviously Villa didn't play until today, and it was a chance that we could have gone 4th overnight, blah blah. And yeah, it was just a classic one of those. It was like we just said, but it was a good opportunity. We win this game, we do this, and then it's the start of a good run and all the rest of it. And yeah, that goes out the window straight away after the game. But yeah, beforehand we were pretty confident, to be honest.
It was the same team that started against Villa, except was it Van der Ven?
Yeah, Van der Ven out. Dragsson made his first start after his January transfer, and yes, he's not as good as Romero's not as good as Van der Ven. But we, like as supporters and people we were talking to, you much prefer. You thought you'd much prefer to see him coming in than a Eric Dyer or a Sanchez who got booed when he last played, or a Ben Davis or Royale filling in. So yeah, we knew he was not going to be as good, but we thought surely we're good enough. If we play anything like we did like previously, then we can beat Fulham. But it didn't pan out that way at all.
Yeah, because before the game, I didn't watch it live, but I had checked the Sky Bet and thought Spurs, Fulham are just a weird team. They've taken 5 points off Arsenal this season. That really frustrates me. And I looked at the bets, and you were just above even. So I thought, fuck it, 15 quid on. Pay for a few beers when it comes off, and if it doesn't, because I never win any bets, I've just ripped up £15 and Spurs haven't won. So I thought, for an Arsenal fan, it was a win-win for me.
They always know. The bookies know. That's why they're evens, because they just know. They knew something was up. They do always have it in their brain somehow. But
I didn't see that result coming though.
No, not the way it panned out. It was shocking performance. And again, I said to before, to the people we were with, and obviously the Spurs fans said if we play anything like we did last week, everyone's like, we should win 4 or 5-0. No, football just doesn't pan out that way. Like I said, if we play anything like we did last week, we could win 1-0, we could win 5-0, we'll win the game. But yeah, it was very different. Fulham come out and they were very good. They were very good, and they started the complete opposite to us. They were quick. They were pressing us high, and you're thinking, bloody hell, like what has happened here? Why are they doing this? Because like you said, Fulham are just so up and down. They're so mid-table. It's like you said, they took 5 points off you, but then they've also had had some terrible results. They've had some they're just a random side, and I just didn't. Yeah, like you said, I didn't expect that at all.
Their players are all like that, sort of inconsistent. What sums up Fulham is Iwobi. He has the ability to take on 2-3 players and put it in the top corner, but probably 7 times out of 10 he kicks his own foot, stumbles over, and makes a mess of it.
Yeah.
But they went to Old Trafford and won away. They beat West Ham, but they've had some horrific results on the way as well. And like you said about football, it's so on a knife edge, and this today was a perfect example of it. But there was a chance that Robertson whipped one across, and then Muniz just flicked it, and it got a block, or it was at 0-0, and they went up the other end. Son normally scores that chance when Maddison cuts it back, and then Maddison misses a chance just wide. I think if you take the lead in that game has a completely different trajectory.
Definitely, yeah. And Son's wayward attempt was awful in the first half. It was just poor. We were very, very poor throughout the whole game, and we're just so open and just so easy. It was such a comfortable and enjoyable evening for Fulham. It was, we were very, very poor, but the warning signs were there from the get-go really for Fulham. That they said that Robinson crossed that Munoz didn't quite turn in about the 20th minute. We had a couple chances, and then they got the breakthrough in them just for half time, and another great ball from Robinson straight to Munoz, who sort of swept it back across Vicario, and it was 1-0, and there was a slight VAR check, but he was onside, and it was fully deserved. They were 1-0 up, and rightly so.
We mentioned him, was it last week or the week before? When we said he was turning into the new coming of R9.
Yeah, he's just I think
there's some it was on Match of the Day. It was like he scored 3 goals in his first 48 games. Now he's got 7 in 7. Yeah,
Munoz again. I mean, it's later on. He scored twice yesterday, but it says here no one has scored more than him since February, and you can get more in form if you tried. Like, that's overall, yes, he's probably not a brilliant player. He's just a good player for Fulham, but right now he's probably the last person you want to be playing against.
Because the first time I heard about him was in the Carabao Cup, and I think Ipswich played Fulham. I think, and then remember JJ said on our chat was like, that Muniz looks a player.
Yeah, who the hell?
And he's like, I then went on Flash Scores and I look at him. He's played 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, and I was like, what? Like, is he any good, or is he just playing against a championship team? And he's got into the team since they've had their injuries. Jimenez has been injured. And
Jimenez came. He was on the bench at the weekend, but he hasn't been in the squad for ages.
They signed Brozier in January for that reason, to get cover, and he hasn't had a sniff.
No. And then again, first half we were like, all right, 1-0 down, we're awful, but surely we can't get any worse than that. And they come out and they were flying again and scored in the 48th minute. That Lukic scored his first goal in English football. Of course he does. Scores against us, makes it 2-0. Sort of a lucky, comes off his thigh and diverts it towards the goal, and 2-0 down straight away. And that's a big old hill to climb, basically. For Spurs.
Especially when you're not playing well, when you have to turn it back on. It's not like a light switch. You can flick it back on, flick it back off. No. Like they said, the second goal was a bit lucky. It was a cross, and it sort of hit his thigh. And did he mean it? Ran across it. I mean, he's coming at pace. And
he's obviously making a run, but it's just hit him, and he's obviously just wants it to go towards the goal. Might go to us or get the goal or whatever, and it goes in the net. You just think, oh god, here we go. And even the third goal was a big old scramble, and Dragosin doesn't clear it in front of the goal. Munoz obviously jumps in front of him, and it's 3-0. But
and on that third goal, if it doesn't go in, it's a penalty.
Oh yeah, no, Dragosin absolutely
whacked him.
He just it's either him, the ball, or everything. It was just a very last ditch attempt. That sort of summed up Dragosin really. I'm not picking out. We didn't lose because of him, but you could just tell that was his first game, and players around him, next to Romero, next to Adogan, they just weren't quite. Something was just off, and to be honest, our back four, and I don't think our goalie were the problem, but him there, he was trying to do so much, and it was just little things that with Van der Ven is obviously at the minute is very comfortable with Van der Ven, but it was a shame. It was a shame really for Dragosin that it turned out that way, but they scored straight after as well, the third, to make it 4, but it was pulled back for offside, and they didn't show it in the highlights, but actually summed up the whole performance. That's how comfortable it was for Fulham, and it could have been 4 and it could have been more. Like, they just it was a very good evening for them, and that just summed us up really.
How did that fourth goal come about? Because I saw it flop up 4-0, and then it was 3 minutes later it was disallowed for VAR, and like you said, it wasn't on Match of the Day. It went on the 3-minute highlights.
Nothing.
Was it a lengthy VAR check, or was it? Did it give it as a goal? Was it real?
They celebrated and give it, but then as it was one of those, as Paulinho, I think Paulinho put it in. he was running to the corner and the flag went up. So it was given straight away.
Oh, right.
But yeah, obviously it took a little bit of time to figure out on the apps and stuff. But to be honest, at 3-0, most of the fans left, and then 4 when that goal went in, or it wasn't given, but even more of us left after that. So yeah, it was just it's just a poor game for Tottenham. But we were stood in front, and where we were stood in the stand. Behind us was Emerson Royale's like fan group, so I now know why he gets all the videos and stuff, because there's a bloke, I think it's his mate. It looks very similar to him, but one of our friends was talking to him. He had like a big old fancy camera, and they all like all the designer clothes. I mean, it's not my taste of clothing, but you could tell that they were not your regular Tottenham fans, and yeah, it was quite funny. But so yeah, they were behind us. But Emerson, I don't think Emerson got on, so there was no little highlight reel made for his 3-0 loss at Fulham. But so yeah, that was that. But no, we all sort of bundled out at the stadium 3-0. And
were you in the ground to see Timo Werner's miss?
No, I saw it. I did see it. That is on my notes. How has he missed that?
That is Timo Werner.
No, that is, yeah. He was less than 6 yards, maybe 3 or 4 yards out. Yeah, just unbelievable. 2 goals in 2, and then he misses from underneath the goal. So yeah, poor. And I'm not saying that, but like you said about how football is so close on the fine margins. If that goes in, you never know. We done it at Brighton, but we made a bit of a charge at Brighton away, and momentum changes totally. We had the later chance with Richarlison as well. But yeah, we were. That's all we offered really. We were very, very bad.
Yeah, it was a disappointing result, considering, like you said, you could have gone into 4-5 overnight and applied that extra bit of pressure on Villa, who seem to always struggle now after a European game. And again this afternoon, they were lucky. Could you say they were lucky? They drew 1-1 obviously at West Ham. 2 goals disallowed for West Ham, both for handball. I think the 96th minute one is rightly disallowed for
that's
handball.
Like, just sort of for those listening, that's the only issue of doing a pod now, is that obviously you don't really see the football, you don't see the highlights and all the rest of it. You just sort of hear what they say and read up on it. But yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Villa, like you said, last week they were poor against us, and then European night, and then now, yeah, today is a probably disappointing result, because they'd have been obviously very happy with what happened yesterday, and you'd have thought they'd given that extra bit to go to West Ham. But yeah, you don't know who. Maybe the Moyes masterclass. You don't know.
All right, my one note here on that game is just a game of handballs, because how the one of the first half isn't given.
You sent me that, yeah.
When Bailey flicks it up onto Emerson's hand.
I don't know what is handball then?
And the ref, it's one of them ones where when you watch it, the ref instantly puts his hands across. It's like, no.
Yeah, and he's already made that.
Yeah.
It's mental. Like, refs make a decision like that, but then you see him in other games and they don't make it. Yeah, just don't know. He's always going about the refs, but bloody hell.
Yeah. Antonio's back in flying form. To be fair, West Ham had a great week. They would have taken a point today against Villa, and 5-0 hammering against, was it Freiburg on Thursday?
Yeah, at home, wasn't it? Yeah, they're always going to go through. Yeah, but on back to Fulham, Marco Silva said that was the best performance of Fulham for the season. Fulham's first win at home against Tottenham in the league since 15th of November 2008.
It's the first time he's beat Spurs in a Premier League game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just a shame. It was just, start to finish, utterly rubbish. Like, how can that happen? From last week, we were so high, and then yesterday, everyone wants to kill Postecoglou and possibly themselves. So, it was just, it's just mental, and it's how football works. And like you always say, but you try not to get too high and not too low. And I'm trying to do that now, and like, because people are very much overreacting to what's happened. But yeah, it's like a dig. But Arsenal went to Fulham, have lost, drew at home. Arsenal went to Villa away, lost. We've been to Arsenal at the start of the season and drew 2-2. So, and there's been all sorts of results and performances and things have happened. But yeah, it's a very, very bad performance. Obviously, a worse result, but. Yeah, try not to get too down in dumps about it.
Over a 38-game season, you do have games where you just think, what?
Yeah,
what?
Of course.
Just what?
Of course, yeah.
And we had them 2 games against West Ham and West Ham and Fulham, and you are just lost for words. It was a team that on their given day can beat anyone and do it very well. And since that, they've obviously gone on to a good run of form. The thing as a football fan, which is really frustrating, is then now it's an international break, so we don't play for 2 weeks. You have to mull over that performance for 2 weeks. And every time you go on your socials, it's this, it's that, and it's just like, But
then people, like I said earlier, but people are looking at our little run of fixtures now. Fulham, Luton at home next, and then we have like 2. Again, on paper they look favourable, but I said that's just not how it works. That's not how football has ever worked. You can never do that. And Arsenal would have done the same when that little run. You'd have done, we've got 3 points here, we'll be top of the league. Like, that's just not how it works. And we've done the same. But everyone's saying, we'll beat Fulham, we'll get 12 points in these 4 games, we'll do this, do that. No, it just doesn't work that way. And it's very frustrating. You think, bloody hell, like, what is going on? And yes, yesterday and today you get emotional about it and you show your passion. But, yeah, but like I said, what we have now, we're trying to play much better football. And yes, so you can point towards Postecoglou, but essentially he hasn't gone out and gone, yeah, lads, actually Maddison, you have a stinker, a Doge, you're going to play crap. Jackson, I want you to start and be awful. Romero, you can do the same. Fekir, just let 3 goals in. Like, Postecoglou hasn't done that. He's like, yeah, it's just, and it goes on the players. And Maddison, Son, non-existent. Yeah, it's just a terrible, terrible game. I do think we have an issue with our midfield at the minute. Sarr and that's someone, if it's Basuma or Betancourt, that person hasn't been good enough at the minute.
I saw a lot of stuff online about Basuma not being at the races yesterday.
He's just been off it. He's just been very below par. And since just before he went to AFCON, and since AFCON, I'm not saying it's because of the AFCON, but that little break or whatever he had in that moment, and whether he's got an injury, I don't know, or an illness or whatever's going on, he just hasn't been good. And Betancourt not finding fitness and has struggled with his fitness through his injuries and stuff is not playing well. And it's hard. It must be hard because Postecoglou's probably thinking like one of these 2 has to be that player, and also don't want to play Højbjerg or Skip. So yeah, we're struggling in that area massively, and that's Premier League at the highest level. That's one of the most crucial areas on the pitch. But yeah, it was a very, very bad day.
Right, should we move? Just quickly run through the other results over the weekend.
Yeah.
So you had Burnley obviously picked up a first win of the year against Brentford, helped massively by Reguilón's red card and. Yeah,
on that, I know that there's a double jeopardy rule, but surely that's why. Why did he get sent off?
Because the referee thought he had no attempt to play the ball.
Right.
He just sort of went for the back of him, didn't he?
It wasn't like
a tackle.
It was like stupid.
So the double jeopardy rule is basically if you make an attempt to make the ball, to win the ball, and your last man give away a penalty, you only get booked. But if you just literally tip his heels or clean him out from the back, it's a red card and a penalty. Because it used to always be last man denied a goal scoring opportunity is a red card.
Yeah.
Now if you do that outside the box, like we saw in the Chelsea game, it's a red card. Absolutely stupid rule.
Yeah,
because it's just because the double jeopardy. For me, you should just be sent off regardless.
Yeah, if you're last, like you said, like it always was, last man. If you don't intervene, he's going to go in and one-on-one with the goalie. I think that's got to be
because
a
a penalty is statistically a 70% chance of scoring. So it doesn't. The 2 don't add up.
No,
like for me, it should. If you've made that foul, you should be sent off. Why?
Yeah, because that Leicester game, the Callum Doyle, like you said, they gave a penalty, so he got booked, but then they made it a free kick and he got a red card. It's like that Roy Hodgson video, when he's on the bench and he looks from left to right and then drops his head. He's gutted. Like.
But imagine trying to explain that to someone at the ground who obviously has a few beers down. Then maybe they're like a bit older in age and they were just like, they're celebrating he's got a red card because obviously the VAR thing doesn't explain the decision.
No,
you're left to sort of mull over and think what's happened there.
If you're at Burnley, Brentford, and you're a Brent fan and Reguilón gets sent off, unless there's takes it next to you, no one's going to understand what's going on. So I did think it was bizarre, but I think that's the only way Burnley are going to win.
Yeah, that's the only way. They had to win. So, and because it resulted in their penalty, I was saying to Matt at the time, they have to win.
Yeah.
They just have to win that now.
Yeah, and I think Brentford would have won the game with 11 because they've had some poor results. They've had hard games, but down to 10 men straight away is very, very silly. But also on that game, Fofana, what was he up to? Did you see some of the stuff? Werner's miss was bad. His is up there as well, and
Ellis Sims.
They were just having a stinker, and then he goes and scores. But
Fofana's got 4 and 8 now. He's got the same amount of league goals as Gabriel Jesus.
If you watch that game, he's just very, very strange player. But Burnley finally get a win. Was that?
He's like Nicholas Jackson 2.0. Yeah. He's a Chelsea player as well.
What was that move? Burnley 19th to 19th, or
something like that. Yeah. Luton and Forest drew 1-1. Bad result, I think, for Luton again. A bad week for Luton. In all honesty, I'll talk about them a bit more later. Last minute equaliser. Kept them.
Oh well, yeah, I forgot about that midweek.
Kept them 3 point bit. They threw away a 3-goal lead on Wednesday night against. I think it was one of only a handful of teams that have done that. Throw away a 3-goal lead.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Tottenham is one of them.
Arsenal being the only team to throw away 4-goal leads.
Really, there were a few results that they showed on TV, but also we threw away a 3-goal lead and lost 5-3, not 4-3. So, but no, yeah,
United, wasn't it?
Yeah, United when
classic.
They basically had their all-star 11, but yeah, poor week for Luton.
And then, like we touched on, West Ham played out a 1-1 draw with Aston Villa. But let's move on to the FA Cup and the beauty of the FA Cup. The old girl.
What a weekend!
What weekend? I think there's 20 odd goals in 4 games, and brilliant. So it all started off Wolves Coventry. I mean, looking before the game, I didn't really give Coventry a chance. Maybe that's my Premier League naivety and arrogance. I just thought, Wolves, what an opportunity. They haven't really played anyone too hard in this run-in. To get Coventry in a quarter-final, to get to Wembley, Gary O'Neill, massive occasion. And they just, for a better term, they've shat the bed. They've absolutely just...
But
what have you done there? Like they've come. Big teams have come there. Spurs have come there. They beat them. City, they've beat them there. They ran Liverpool all the way to the last minute. They're a hard team to beat.
And I thought as well that they played West Brom the round before, didn't they, away in a big Midlands derby, like a massive moment for them, and done well and won the game. I thought Coventry home, it'll be close, but they'll be up for that classic. They'll do enough. But yeah, Coventry were obviously very, very good.
Fantastic. They had chance after chance after chance after chance. Ellis Sims obviously missed that golden opportunity. Then he did take the lead. But Wolves turned it around within 5 minutes in the 83rd and the 88th minute. And then you just think the commentary was just like, Wolves are through. They through to Wembley. And then they just 90+7 Ellis Sims. And then 90+10. What are you doing? You're a Premier League opposition. Like, what? Like, they've just crumbled. They've just absolutely crumbled. And being a Wolves... Looking at as from a Wolves perspective, you'd be tearing your hair out because the league they're safe. They've had a good little season this year, far more than I think a lot of the outsiders expected, and myself included in that. Chance to go to Wembley.
Well, ninth.
What have you done?
They got an outside chance of getting into Europe, haven't they? But yeah, like you said, cut that sort of side is a little cup run, FA Cup, big days out like that. It would be incredible, and like you said, the opportunity against Coventry. Couldn't have asked for a better tie, really.
How good was that Haji Wright goal? Little couple of passes
good
around. First time, leaning back and just whips it into the corner. The celebrations in that end would have been absolutely outrageous.
Do you see the bit about Mark Robbins, the manager in the ball?
Yes.
Gary Neal was not happy. I haven't seen it. I've just heard the interview from Gary Neal, but... No, I'll talk about Coventry later on, but yeah, first time in the semi-finals of the FA Cup since they won it in 1987.
And back to Wembley after their unfortunate loss on, was it penalties? They lost the playoff final.
Yeah.
I've put Manchester City 2, Newcastle 0, boring 2-0 skip.
Yeah, I've literally got the score and that's it. I don't know who scored, what happened.
Chelsea tried their best to Chelsea. Like that just sums up this Pochettino and his bunch of idiots. He's got there, bunch of idiots on 8-year contracts. Just.
But again, we text our Chelsea mates. But what was their goal? Was it the third goal when Cole Palmer?
Flicked around to Manu.
What a brilliant goal! Like little 1-2s, little passing, make a third man run, all the rest of it, and just a brilliant goal. But then disaster, boots on his own net from 40 yards. Like just sums them up more and. I actually quite enjoyed it because it was obviously a lot of goals and it was a bit of a hostile atmosphere and the fans were booing Sterling and getting wild his back.
Friendly fire, Raheem Sterling.
But then how can you... Not how, but I always feel bad for Pochettino. Like, he's trying to do all this. He's sorting out a team, playing and then Zazazi just rockets one in from 35 yards. Just mental. Like, the TV weren't even caught up with it because it's just like, oh my God, what's happening? But you just can't... You can't adjust for that, can you? Like you can't expect that. But
the thing with Pochettino, we've said it numerous times. Like, I look at Chelsea as just another business. Like your dad runs his own business. Imagine if he's got tomorrow and then he gets 20 new members of staff. Like,
and they go right. There you go.
There you go. Try and go through your systems of work,
and they're all here for 8 years.
And you've got to do things, and some of them are fucking useless. Some of them are on really high salaries. You're like, you can't do that. You need like loyal, experienced people here and there. Jot it in with a new person. Like, oh, you're new. You go with your experienced head for a kid, been there a couple of years, and then he learns the rope. You can't just throw things together and expect it to work.
And they're all here till 2032. So good luck.
And then you can't just, like, in the next year, just get rid of half and go again. No, you need to, like...
Yeah.
He's got a real... They're just a shit show, basically.
It is a mess. But Sterling, I'm laughing, but Sterling's performance...
But he's one of the ones not on an 8-year contract.
No, he's just on all the money in the world. Yeah. The penalty's terrible, and I think you missed.
But he's always been bad at penalties. He doesn't kick them. I think Ashley Williams said it. How can a player that has done us so much at the highest level not kick a football properly?
No, strike a ball and it sounds pathetic. Yeah, he doesn't. You saw that in the free kick, and you saw that in the penalty. The free kick, my God. Like, you said, like, I just don't think I could kick the ball that high.
I couldn't.
He just, like, drop kicked it into the Rose head. It was ridiculous.
So, I saw some of the POVs you've seen of that. It's just
and all the memes.
I saw one.
They make his arse bigger. He says, like, all the facts about staying, like, 353k a week, 0 goals, blah, 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 whatever, and his arse just gets bigger and bigger.
Have you seen that one they did in like beginning of the season with Nicholas Jackson when he spoons it wide and they made a goal like 110%, 150, like 200?
Still wouldn't go in.
What on earth would that be to get that on target?
It was, but they do go through and they're in the semis.
Yes, no. There was that lovely Cole Palmer. What a player!
He's about the only good thing going from.
Yeah, lovely little flick, and was it Chunky?
Chunky?
I don't know what his surname is.
No, it was horrid. The chat of the studio was Lineker and Hasselbank, and they were trying to make like puns on Carney's name. Carney Chukwuemeka. It was just awful, awful stuff. Yeah, it was awful stuff.
And then obviously Maddie Wakey fired one in a slight deflection.
Yeah, big deflection.
Gives the leap on it.
Yeah, and it was like, they would say, what a finish. No, it's deflected. That's why it's made that shape. But yeah, was it 4-2 in the end?
4-2 in the end. Yeah. But the main event, United versus Liverpool. I had a feeling today that they were going to win this game, because they've had a lot of bad press recently, Man United. They've had big games coming up with. Have faulted in all of them. The pressure is high on Ten Hag. Liverpool quadruple. Man United lose this. Got no trophy. No silverware is gone this season. They're at home. FA Cup it's different. I don't care what anyone says. If that's in the Premier League, that game just isn't as topsy-turvy. The FA Cup has that slightly different... I think maybe the players are maybe a tiny bit more relaxed, because the Premier League is so...
It was very
intensive,
and United, like you said, United played in a totally different fashion. And the brief, because just before I come here, they were talking about it in the studio. Roy Keane, and he does talk some rubbish, but he did say that like, they performed in a quote-unquote United way. It was they weren't so worried about defending; they were attacking. They trying to score goals and take it to the opposition in a game, massive historical fixture like that. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say it's good to see, but. You haven't seen that, and as a United fan, you're probably quite excited. They've still got some awful players, the same players that they've had this whole time, but that performance, that is what they want to see. So
yeah, compared to the shambles they're putting at the Etihad, where they just had to sit there and
and then they don't lose 8-0, so they'll just take the defeat as it is. But
because United started well, when there was a lovely work move with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Garnacho. I think Kelleher saved it, and then McSauce comes steaming in and puts them 1-0, and they started off really well, and that's what United have to do in them sort of games and make them hard to play against. And you see even Van Dijk was making a couple of mistakes and he was agitated because he was losing control of it. But they just had absolute brain fart, United, and then throw it away at half. What I know, Roy Keane said, it's game management, get out, and it's easier said than done. These terms, that the old cliches,
buzzwords,
get into half time. Like, we would never have done that. We're your leaders and all this stuff. And McAllister, lovely work move with Nunes, but his shot does get deflected and takes it probably past Onana. If he doesn't get deflection, he probably saves it. And then a little ricochet to Salah, who just smashes it in. He looks like he thought it was offside. Was it a foul? Was it something on foul on Bruno? Bruno was pathetic then. Gets himself booked and
what a horrible man he is. But what was the goal you might have said? But Onana, when he saved it and it fell to Salah, was that the second goal?
Yeah.
Like, what's Onana doing? Like, just push it. It's a terrible save. Push it away out of the pitch, but awful bit of goalkeeping that carried on throughout the game. And
Salah became the first opposition player to score 5 consecutive games at Old Trafford. The second half, though, Liverpool should have just walked away with that. Like, between the minutes of like 50 and like 81, I would say, it was just all Liverpool. It was quite boring to watch because Liverpool had so much control between their own third and the final third. They just couldn't create anything in that final third. And they'll be ruin the chances they've missed and kicking themselves that they've now squandered the quadruple that was always going to be really hard to get. But they shouldn't have lost this game.
No.
And Man United bring Anthony on. They took Højlund off and Wan-Bissaka on for Maguire, changed the shape a little bit. And nothing really was working. And then all of a sudden, the ball comes to Anthony, sort of spins on it and right foots it into the corner. And it's
the fidget spinner scored a goal, didn't he?
That's football.
Yeah.
I saw a great tweet was like, is that like a black mark against Van Dijk's legacy sitting Anthony score? He scored 2 goals a season, both in the FA Cup. And then that gave him the confidence to just stop playing well.
He suddenly became, he had no pressure on him. He was trying things. He looked quite direct and quick and skillful, didn't he? Yeah, it was very odd. But like you said, the whole momentum just shifted in that moment, didn't it? And
Elliott had a chance. He had a deflected cross at the post, and then Eriksen came on, played a ball over the top. Rashford touch. You've seen that so many times. He just slots it in wide, 4-time whistle, and for him, I think he's thankful that he probably would have been offside.
I think he was.
No one in that ground would have known that. He wouldn't have known that.
No.
And what a miss! Like if you're a Man United fan and you're like, you feel your heart sink.
And they'd want him in that moment more than anyone else. We'd pick no one else but him, and he missed 2, didn't he? I know the second one was given offside, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then third time lucky, but like you said, that first one and the second one, but yes.
And then going into extra time, they brought on your mate, Money Mace, returned.
Yeah. See, strange, isn't he? I'm surprised he knew what a football pitch was.
Returned and turned the game around. He didn't actually do much, did he?
Since November, I think last game was November.
Yeah, something like that. Elliott, who was pretty involved in extra time for good and bad, picked the ball up and then cut inside. He shot again, big deflection of Eriksen, and Onana.
Again.
I think it's harsh to blame him because that shot's going down his throat if it goes. And
the shot's awful. It's one of those. It's just a nothing, and then the deflection makes it go in. But he's committed so far to left, and it's once you're committed, you can't go back, I suppose. But just a strange goalie. He's just a very, very strange goalie. And then he's quite good with his feet. Like later on in the game, he got the ball on the edge of the box, sort of went past the little player, made a good pass. Just like his actual goalkeeping ability, he's not very good at it.
Odd bloke.
Yeah, it's just strange, very strange.
And I think I personally thought that was it now. I didn't think they were going to let him out, let him off the hook again. And then Darwin Núñez decides to start dribbling inside his own half and then plays a square ball. And it's, what have you done? McTominay picks it up, slots in Rashford, one touch. And like you said earlier, that's the one man United fans want in that position. He makes a mistake that makes amends for his mistake. And third time lucky, slots it in. 3-3 in the 112th minute. And all neutrals, I think, watching that, want penalties. They want penalties.
I've been sort of doing our notes, and like I said to you earlier, but I think the commentator said there's about 40 seconds to go, and at that point I had written United 3, Liverpool 3, blah blah, penalty drama, all the rest of it, and then look up and they're running in on goal, and Mr. Diallo steps up.
But that's it. Going back to the point that Keane made at the end of the first half, what you do need to get to half time, see it out. Liverpool, I know they made some subs, then brought Bobby Clark on, and I think brought Conor Bradley on. Still Van Dijk on that pitch, there's McAllister, Endo, they're experienced players. What on earth are you doing at that corner? And you have Endo and Harvey Elliott have a mix-up. One of you put a name on it and just get the ball, take a shot, or just Garnacho nips in, gets the ball, running. Doesn't play the best pass to Diallo.
Yeah, he makes it very difficult.
Diallo doesn't also have the best clean connection.
No.
Alisson probably saves that.
Possibly, maybe. Yeah. It was almost like the goalie was caught off guard. The fact it was that poor of a shot, and maybe he was expecting a cleaner strike, but almost one of those. He did enough and just hit rolling towards the goal, and little Diallo took his shirt off. I was like, red card, and.
Well, it's funny because I forgot it'd been booked. I know it was only literally 2 minutes ago, and then he'd obviously scored your shout and red card. And when they scan back to him, someone's obviously told him, and he's struggling so much to get this shirt, but he's struggling.
Worse,
and the commentators are saying red card is a red card. I mean, the rule I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a very, very silly rule. Even when they said about in the fans and they get booked for that, why can't you take your shirt off when you score? It's very strange. Like it's almost one of those that people don't even talk about, and I've never spoke about it but until now. And you're right, it's a very
for me
odd rule.
it's such a 2024 rule, but it's been outlawed since like 2003.
Yeah, it's like a woke,
Yeah,
woke referee
it is. It's
rule,
just, but
yeah.
why was it done 20 years
No.
ago? I remember Henri was one of the first players to get booked for taking his shirt off, and I think he's celebrated in front of the Everton fans or something. But I don't know why it's a thing.
And people do, obviously, a lot of players who score do take their shirts off, but it's not. If it wasn't a rule, it's not as if every goal everyone just whips their shirts off. It's just in moments like that, Diallo last minute against Liverpool, get into the FA Cup semi-final, all the rest of it. You just that emotion, they just want to do something and they just want to rip their shirt off.
And especially for like the Premier League, who massive multi-million pound company and industry, and Sky and BT and whoever, TNT and whoever, all pay this money for. It's another spectacle, isn't it? The shirt comes off, like Salah tensing, like Balotelli.
They've got a weird thing underneath.
Yeah,
like
or they've got a message, or why always
messages,
me, or like that's just like a spectacle that, as all great pictures, like why would you want to tarnish it with a yellow card? It just makes no sense.
And it's a rule that probably never get changed, and it'll probably never get spoken about again. But odd. Very odd. But then when he got sent off, it was funny. He just walked down the tunnel.
And he gave his shirt as well.
Yeah,
what
it's
are you
so
doing?
funny. So good. And he just give it like the sort of hands together, the sort of piece to the fan. It was funny. Yeah, very funny.
But obviously, absolute jubilation at Old Trafford, and United fans will be absolutely buzzing with that. They've stopped Liverpool in their potential quadruple, knocked them out. Fantastic. And they've drawn Coventry.
Yeah.
Like, what a tie for them to get in the semi-final. Get to Wembley, get FA Cup final again. So the other tie was obviously Chelsea versus City.
Yeah.
What a chance to be in the FA Cup final.
Yeah. And again, even Chelsea. I know that's City are hard, but they're in the semis of the FA Cup. That's pretty good.
Right. Any more on the FA Cup?
No, only that Neto could be out for the season. He got is it a hamstring injury again? So not good news for Neto,
crock, isn't he? And when they're wanting £80 million for him, I think
I don't think you can justify that.
Stay away from that.
No, but semi-final draw has been completed.
And ties to be played April 20th and April 21st.
Who do you fancy? City.
We said off Reading. I think it's got to be another City United final, isn't it? And hopefully,
I think United will go back to how they've normally been playing and defend their lives.
Hopefully, City win as well.
Yeah, I think City have always been the favourites, but
well, ideally Coventry win it all. But
that'd be good, but can't see it.
Right, European football. Quick round up on the week of European football. So, I was obviously there on Tuesday at the Emirates. That's the first game in a long time I have completely lost my nerve, lost my sort of composure, calm composure, because Arsenal historically have a real poor record in Europe, and I've seen it firsthand against Olympiacos at home. They've knocked us out. Villarreal was poor. I've lost count of the amount of ones. The silly ones at Monaco at home that we just shouldn't have got knocked out to. And we obviously took the lead well, playing okay in the second half, but it comes like the 80th minute, and Porto want to make it a 10-minute game, and it's just like Arteta hasn't made a sub, and it's like people are stressing, and I'm stressing because I haven't been in this situation before, and it's been 14 years since we've done it, and extra time was just like we said. I think we said during the World Cup preview, extra time should be scrapped. It's awful. Yeah, I think either team had a shot.
No, nobody wants it. Everyone wants
put golden goal in there or something, make it a bit more fun, entertaining.
Yeah.
But what is for me interesting, because I thought the last 8 years I've not fallen out of love with the Champions League, but I just haven't paid much attention to it because we're always normally so far off it. And when you see these great teams playing, I look at Arsenal, I used to think we're miles off away from this. But it's interesting to see how the Champions League is just a completely different game to the Premier League. Like,
it's the only time this, not as in the game just gone, but in the Champions League, it's the only time you've obviously lost some games, but you watch an Arsenal game like, they're actually, you can do something against them. There's ways around to beat them or get a result and stuff. It's the only, and obviously you must have been stressing and highly stressed in midweek, but that's the only time I thought maybe
it's a real interesting point you make there, because in the first half Porto just time wasted and it was booze and it was this, taking their time. 1 minute added on. Bear in mind a player went down for like 3 minutes and just didn't get anything added on. The second half, one of their players tried an overhead kick under no pressure, overhead kick, misses the ball, like falls on his back, he's like rolling around. Arsenal at the ball at the other end, and the ref then blows up and he's done that himself. Under no pressure.
No, I saw that.
And
God, no.
there's just so much time wasting, and there's obviously they've got Pepe, they're all the dark arts, they know exactly what they're doing, and they make a 90-minute game into like a 50-minute game. And second half, what do they add on? 3 minutes.
Yeah,
My God, again, that was the rules back 2 years ago in like the Premier League, and that used to just frustrate the hell out of us. And now I'm so glad that rule is in the Premier League, where you see your 8s, your 9 minutes added on, because that's what they're doing. And
but then, like you said, it doesn't happen in Europe. The refs it's still the similar rules. They don't follow that the same as the Premier League, so that's why it's a few minutes here and there. I actually thought I know you text straight after the game, but I actually thought the ref was quite good. He made probably one bad. I don't really remember it, but. Yeah, I actually thought he'd done quite well, but there we go.
Yeah, when you're in there in that emotional state,
of course, it's very different.
For me, I couldn't tell what on earth that goal was disallowed for. They had the Havertz. It was the Odegaard goal, and Havertz like pulled his shirt or something. But at the time, you can't see.
You have no idea.
If anything, it looks like Havertz was fouled in watching it live, and there's no VAR replays, and even the offsides, for example, are done by like AI generated automatic, aren't they? There's no lines and silly nonsense, so it's like all different. And over the 125 minutes, I think it was 5 minutes in total added on. It's just bonkers, isn't it? Yeah. I think there was 5 minutes added on in the second half of it added time in the United-Liverpool game we just watched. But penalties, the second ever penalty shootout at the Emirates. The first one was last year. People say that penalties, for me, when they say penalties is a lottery and this and that, I always agree, because I think that's a skill that you can own, and you can get good at.
Sterling's penalty is awful.
You're not telling me that Harry Kane's a lottery every time he steps up and thunders it in the top corner. Like, some of these players are very good at penalties. So Odegaard seems to be working. Havertz and you've seen the teams are just good at them. And you can have a goalkeeper. I said to my dad, it was so refreshing to see a goalkeeper dive. Porter took 4 penalties, and the goalkeeper dived the right way 3 times. As an Arsenal fan, I said, counter that goal, just die. I know you can't always do it, but there's a skill also to understanding where the players are going to put the ball. Like some players, like Tony, if you take them out, you just bamboozled. Yeah. But there are goalkeepers that are good at saving penalties.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Porto goal was. Yeah. They talking about all his stats before it happened, and he couldn't have been worse. So, yeah.
But no, we got there in the end. Very tense game. I haven't seen my dad get that like emotional in a game, like swearing, shouting. Like he was. You could tell that. That's how much pressure you could tell was in it when he's sort of like going up and down and getting angry and what. So it was a good. The sense of relief was like, yes, and it's exciting because then I got that sense of quarter-final draw. I don't really care who we get. Because they're all they're all solid teams. I don't really care. Like I would quite like I said to you, I'd rather not get Barca or Bayern because they're just the same teams we seem to get every year whenever we're in it. But obviously we drew Bayern, a classic. We've at our last 6 Champions League campaigns, we've had them 5 times.
That's quite ridiculous, isn't it? Like a random draw, and somehow you still end up with
bloody Bayern.
And yeah, obviously the Harry Kane factor, the Eric Dyer factor.
Why do we always play against Harry Kane? Like, the 1 year he's gone away. Like,
Kane penalty definitely will happen. You might win 8-1, but he'll score a penalty.
But that's you don't win. Those games are just tight affairs, and
yeah, I think that's a very, very. If anything, you might be 51% favourite or 50. Like it's very close. It's very, very close, I think. But like I said, they also Bayern do play Eric Dyer, so there is that factor. But no, it'd be very, very close, I think. Very close.
So the full draw was City versus Real Madrid, and that's on the same side as Arsenal's draw. I don't know if I like that the semi-final draw gets done in the same... I don't know if that's...
Don't really have a comment.
I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know whether I like that or not. I would say no, probably. Because I like having the draw. Each time there should be a draw, and I don't know. It's just a thing. Yeah. And then Atletico got Dortmund and PSG got Barca. That's a very good leg of the draw for PSG to be in, I think.
Yeah, and the fact that City have got Madrid, so potentially, obviously, one of those sides is out. Even the Arsenal Bayern game, one of the big teams left in it that are very good this year are out. So that other side will be quite happy, I think.
Liverpool drew Atalanta. West Ham smashed, obviously, Freiburg and got more German opposition in Bayern Leverkusen. And just like we said, the way the legs are drawn out, could be a Liverpool-West Ham final or a Liverpool-Leverkusen final. Could be the Xabi Alonso
in Dublin as well.
Yeah, the handing of the reins.
Yeah, the love affair with Alonso. I imagine the Klopp. Oh, it'd be awful. The media that week, Klopp and Xabi Alonso. Oof.
Klopp versus Moyes, though, it'd be.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, two
good.
giants of the game.
Elsewhere, Jordan Henderson ran in mud for 90 minutes against Aston Villa.
He pressed really hard though. He chased the ball down a lot.
But they've actually got a tough draw at Lille. Interesting. They were fourth in the French division, and Villa are massive favourites in that, and they should go all the way. But it's an interesting little draw. But the term ties get played in a couple of weeks, I believe. I know it's maybe 2 weeks after the international break, which is just.
Yeah, it's crept up on us again.
So we'll have to figure out what we'll do next week on.
Could talk about the Six Nations. Yeah. At least that's over. That's done, isn't it? I hope so.
Do we review England's friendlies versus Belgium and Brazil?
Yeah, why not?
Right, do you want to do winner and loser?
Yeah, my winner this week, I've picked Coventry City. 3-2 win over Wolves, like we said. Haven't got to this stage since 1987, so huge weekend for the Coventry. Brilliant result for them. Big extra time winner against some side they probably hate and they haven't played for a long time. So yeah, good.
Yeah,
good
I
weekend
also
for Coventry.
Mirror your winner with Coventry City. Like I said, they stunned Wolves in last minute thriller. And my main thing was just as a match going fan, the scenes in that away and you get the extra added bit and you get more fans in the FA Cup that is what dreams are made of, isn't it? What was funny was they see that little kid run on the pitch and get the shirt from one of the players, and someone put like rules are the rules, 3-year ban. Make sure he can't go to Wembley. I mean, it's fair enough.
Rules are the rules, yeah, it's true. But
make sure that it was like a prediction. Make sure that kid does not get to Wembley.
Win of the week, Coventry.
My lose of the week might be a bit harsh this one, but I've gone for Luton Town.
Ooh.
We mentioned last week they've got a real opportunity to put a marker down in the relegation battle, but throwing away a 3-goal lead away at Bournemouth on Wednesday night and then drawing to Nottingham Forest. I know they're like classic 6-pointers and no one wins or loses them when you draw. But if you added the 5 points that they dropped, they could have been. That would have been a real marker down. And considering it's going to be a real big week this week for Nottingham Forest, because it's led to believe in the papers that they're going to find out the fate of their profit and sustainability charges this week. So if they're guilty and they get hit 6 points, I think that could have been potentially an 11 point swing. Yeah, Luton, they do try their bloody hardest, and everyone had them down as going down, and I was gutted when they threw away that 3-goal lead, because I want it to be interesting down in there. I want them to survive. I want them to progress and get the credit that they've deserved, because the other two teams that come up have just been just shambles. But unfortunately, Luton Town lose of the week this week.
Nice. I've gone. Might be a bit of a sore subject. This lose of the week. Ben White, and let's probably roll your eyes. It was a close. Close second was the Arsenal fan and Porto fan that swapped shirts in the ground. That's awful. That's just a disgraceful stop. But Ben White, the England call-up situation. Yes, I understand. He part of the squad and he felt he's better than the players. All the rest of it, fine. But I think England is the pinnacle of anyone's career. And yes, you get called up and you want to play, but he's not bigger than England. That's essentially what he's saying. And you might disagree and you defend him. That's expected, but he thinks he's big in England, and we won't win the World Cup with him. We won't win the World Cup without him. So Ben White is not make or break. It's not even Harry Kane. It's not Jude Bellingham. It's not Saka. It's not Foden. I just think it's poor, and it just tells you a lot about the individual.
I'm quite interested. It's an interesting conversation the Ben White thing, because I think something clearly happened in Qatar with him and Steve Holland.
We don't know the background. They could have been all sorts.
That's obviously a falling out which hasn't been rectified. That no one's apologised on either end, quite clearly. I do think Southgate's management of the situation, to basically call them out in the press conference, was quite poor. There are ways to do that. obviously, yeah, we don't know what happened, but there's
Yeah.
there's clearly something happened there. He got sent home from the camp. He hasn't been called up since. And then once they have a few injuries and he's actually been playing well, and they then, I don't think he even asked. I don't think he would have been called up. It's
No.
just the fact that he's
He's just come out and said that he doesn't want to play.
yeah.
That's what it is. But when Southgate goes, then I don't think you should come back and say, "Oh, well, now I want to play for you." You don't pick and choose when you play for your country. No, I don't know. It's not. So if someone comes in and Arteta fancies them more than Ben White, is he going to throw a moody one and sulk then? And then is everyone going to be like, "Oh, Ben White, what a great player, great human"? No, you're not going to be happy then, are you? So yeah, if he's done it now, he's more than likely to do it when it goes wrong at Arsenal, if it goes wrong. So yeah, I think it's poor from Ben White. Yeah,
Because I do think Arsenal knew this was going to come out because they announced the contract renewal basically the same time as the England squad came out, because I think they knew that Southgate was going to say something. So
and also on that,
to balance it out,
yeah, on the contract renewal, that's another poor thing we're asked. The video of the players like Ben White had died. It was like, oh, Ben White, what a
yeah, but they
captain,
do that because they know that
he's
he's going to get a bashing from the media.
Yeah,
so
true.
he's going to get his personality bashed from XYZ, and then you have people phone up TalkSport and say that he should go to war, and I was like, just grow up. Yeah. But it's they do that because it's the way the good with the bad, and they try to balance it out because but the backlash he gets isn't just all just there's like he gets his loving from his team, from his squad, and then
I just thought it was cringe, but so there we go.
That's the life of social media, unfortunately. Right, back to St. Patrick's Day. Can you name the top 5 all-Irish Premier League goal scorers?
Robbie Keane.
Robbie Keane is number 1.
Okay.
By quite a way.
That might help. Roy Keane?
Roy Keane's number 6.
Oh. Okay.
Number 6.
Damien Duff?
Damien Duff, number 4.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Shane Long?
Shane Long, number 3.
Okay, this is good. I like it. I don't get. No, he was.
You're a Scottishman, are you?
No, I might say an English person. I can't think if he's one of those. Niall Quinn.
Niall Quinn, number 2.
Oh, smashing it. Kevin Doyle?
No, he was in the top 10.
Okay.
So you've got number 5. That's who you're going for.
So, we've got Shane Long.
Robbie Keane. Niall Quinn. Shane Long. Damien Duff.
Damien Duff's 4. And then 5.
Yeah.
Keane was 6. Who's 5? I've got Clinton Morrison running through my head. I don't think it's him.
No.
Blank. Give me an era, like a. I'll have a stab in the dark.
2010 to 2018. That sort of.
Is he another question? Is he a striker?
Yeah, he's an attacker, a versatile attacker. Like his main position is up front, but there'll be time when he played on the wing and played a bit of. He's like a hard working one of those players.
Oh, Jonathan Waters.
Waters.
Yes. Yeah, the hard. Just him running around and smashing someone. Brilliant. Should be centre half, but actually plays up
Jonathan
front.
Waters, Roy Keane's mate.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
that's good. I like it.
Robbie Keane, 126 goals. Niall Quinn, 59. Shane Long, 56. Damien Duff, 54. And then Jonathan Waters in 5th place on 43.
Nice. Scored. I mean, I knew Keane had scored a lot, but I thought Roy Keane would have been in there. But no.
Yeah, no, he was number 2. Number 6. Sorry, number 6.
Good question.
Right. another end to another episode. 88.
88.
Flying through 'em.
88, and we're still here.
What's 88 on the bingo card? Isn't it big fat ladies?
Yeah, I think it is. Two fat ladies, 88.
So no, Sunday episode. So this will be out obviously Sunday night. But if you want to listen to it on your Monday commute to work, that'd be great. We'll put it out on the socials probably tomorrow, I imagine, sometime.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back next Monday with. We'll have a chat in the week. Something.
Yeah, we'll have. Yeah, I don't know. It could be someone might be on, or might just do a random topic or whatever. Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. Right, but again, no. Thank you all for listening.
Yep.
And stay loyal.
Stay loyal.